morning. I swear a lot.
It is 1 in the PM, and you're listening to The Foreman. I'm your host, Foreman, and hey, it's the new year, 2026 is here, which is nice. I hope everyone had a nice holiday period, whether or not it's particularly eventful to you or not, if there are holidays to be celebrated or not. I hope the time period was at least pleasant, enjoyable, hopefully restful. Most people don't work during this time, but some people do, and I hope for those who did work during this time that it was manageable. I know that this period of time can be fucking rough. So, yeah, hope you all had a good time. I actually took time off for the first time last year. Like, properly actually took time off. But before I get into any of that, I want to actually quickly jump on more immediate stuff for the channel, just so that people who are curious can hear that and then don't necessarily have to hear me wax lyrical about my life and what I think of it and the games I've been playing recently. So, brass tacks. After this goes up, it'll be going up on a Monday in my time. I'm going to be back to work and making videos again. First priority, don't know if it'll necessarily be the first thing I record, but definitely one of my top priorities will be starting Canto 9 in Limbus Company, because that's out now, and frankly, the longer I leave it, the more likely I am to be spoiled. So, yep, we're jumping on that as soon as we can. And I'm looking forward to it. There's some interesting looking stuff around that. And from what little I've seen, I obviously don't want any spoilers on it, but from what I've seen from actually booting up the game and quickly buying the season pass, so that I'll be getting stuff from that, it all looks very cool. And Ryoshu is possibly one of the most mysterious characters in the game at the moment, so that will be interesting. Looking forward to that. Claire Obscure and XCOM will be continuing as normal, and at some point, preferably sooner rather than later, because I don't want it to fall by the wayside, I will be continuing the RimWorld Siege Survival Challenge. I imagine there'll only be one more video, but we'll see. And once that video is done, we can assess if we want to do more RimWorld in general. Let me know if you do. And if you haven't seen the Siege Survival video yet, go have a look, lads. It's pretty good. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Will I do more face cam on those? I don't know. It depends how I feel that day, really. Like, there's a self-confidence thing to it. If I don't think I look good, I ain't doing it. It doesn't even add that much anyway. But I digress, truly. That is most relevant news for what's coming up soon. But in regards to more long-term goals, ideas, or I guess the general way I'm going to be approaching 2026, no real New Year's resolutions, because I don't really believe that the turn of the new year should be the time that you decide to make decisions to improve your life. That should just be something you do anyway. I know it's easier said than done, believe me, I do. But my point is that I'm not inclined to wait for a specific time of year before I start trying to make improvements to myself. If I want to make improvements, any time of the year is the perfect time to start working on it. It's never too soon, and as long as you're still alive, it's never too late. Always give it a go, always try and improve yourself. So no New Year's resolutions, but definitely a change of tactics in terms of my business for this year. And what I mean by that is 2025 was rough. Like, really rough. Now, good things happened in 2025. Many good things happened. And we reached 12,000 subs before the end of 2025, which is great. But like I kind of touched upon just a few minutes ago, I think, I did not take time off in 2025. There were days where a video didn't go up, and there was that time, I think a couple months ago or so, where the internet went out. I might have gotten ill at one point, I don't remember. And I had to kind of slow down video production to look after a litter of puppies, but at no point this year was I just taking time off at all. Even when I was looking after the puppies, I was using my spare time during that time to try and put out videos. During the time the internet went out, well, A, I couldn't really properly relax because I didn't have access to all of my necessary faculties. I was stressed about the fact that the puppies were going to be born soon, and that was supposed to be the time when I was supposed to be working extra hard, which is ridiculous when you think about how I've been working solidly through that year. But that was the intent, and I couldn't do that, and that was stressing me out. And I was getting stuff edited whilst I couldn't upload them, so I was still doing my job. My point is that there's been no point in 2025 where I didn't, in some capacity, work towards producing more content. And gotta be honest, lads, it kind of took precedent over everything else in my life, and it put me in quite a... not sure what the term would be, I definitely retreated into myself a lot in 2025. I don't know. There is a bit of a logic loop, which is a bit of a problem. It's also a solution, but it's kind of a problem with content creation in me, because I'm able to motivate myself to do my job in the sense that I love doing my job, and I always get a sense of good feeling and satisfaction from producing videos, right? I get a video up and I'm like, that feels good. That feels good. I've done it, right? I've recorded something. That feels good. I've finished editing something. That feels good. I've published it. That feels good. So if I'm not feeling great, I will focus on my work, because I'm like, well, you'll feel better if you just are productive and get shit done. But the problem can stem from the fact that if I'm focusing on work above other things, such as going outside, socializing, looking after myself, etc., etc., and because I'm not doing those things, I'm not feeling great. And then my coded solution to not feeling great is to make videos, which is the thing I was already doing at the cost of my own self-care and mental well-being. It creates a cycle, which causes me to retreat deeper and deeper into myself and just keep doing it. And I think that kind of happened in 2025, and it was a pretty rough year. Gotta be honest, like I said, good things happened, but I didn't feel great throughout that year. This year will be different, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll see. What I'm actually gonna try and do is a couple of things. First of all, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna really think about it. I'm gonna look through my calendar and I'm gonna try and pick a time and be like, Foreman, you're not working during that time. You are taking that time off. You are taking that time off. No exceptions. That's just how it's gonna be. There are also days where it's more difficult due to like personal arrangements for me to actually be able to produce videos on those days. Normally, or at least last year, I just plowed through anyway, despite the complications that brought. This year, I'm not fucking doing that. On those days, I'm not gonna bother. Not because I don't want to, but because I'm like, look, if it's already a situation where it's gonna be awkward to try and put out a video, just take the day off. Just don't fucking worry about it. Just chill, relax. You don't need to be hammering out videos. I kind of do. I'm training myself to not. And I'm trying to achieve a sense of moderation, balance, right in the middle. Work hard, don't kill yourself over it, right? That's the general goal. Don't overwork. And it's difficult. It's just especially difficult when A, you run your own business, and B, you really like what you do. Because there's no reason not to do it, except there absolutely is reason to not work sometimes. But in your mind, or at least on a base level of logic, there becomes no reason to not work, because you're like, well, I enjoy doing it, and hell, a healthy part of it is just playing games, so I would be doing that anyway in my off time if I was, other than the basic chores and self-care and stuff, so why wouldn't I just work? But it's separating those things that I think is the key. And I have taken a good first step towards this goal, right? And this segues into what I want to talk about next. And something I'm quite pleased and excited about. It has nothing to do with the channel, and that's kind of the point, actually, is that for Christmas, I gifted myself. I bought myself Metaphor ReFantazio. I actually got a bundle and got Persona 5 Royal on my PC as well. Now, I've already technically have Persona 5 Royal because my friend, my IRL friend, lent me his copy, and I've still got it. But now I have it on my PC, which is more convenient for me because I basically do everything on my PC nowadays. But I started playing Metaphor, and that game's fucking sick. I absolutely love it, and I'm not doing anything with it in regards to the channel other than really what you're seeing right now, and who knows, maybe later on I'll do like a spoiler talk about it. On that note, I'm going to talk about Metaphor today, but I'm going to refrain from chatting spoilers. Now, the footage I'm using would have like party composition and general gameplay spoilers up to the date of 0707 in game. But I'll put a little warning to that at the start of the video, so if you want to go into Metaphor utterly blind with no idea of anything about it, you can either not watch the video or you can just give this a miss until you've checked it out for yourself, right? But Metaphor is much better than I was expecting it to be, because there's a lot to talk about here. But I love Persona 3, I love Persona 5. This is no secret. This is well known on the channel. I use the songs from Persona 3 and Persona 5 all the fucking time. And I think there are at least previous occasions where I've talked about how much I like those games. Metaphor, for those of you who are completely unaware, is essentially a Persona game. It's not actually a Persona game. It doesn't take place in the Persona setting, as it were, with the same themes and whatnot and the same ideas, but it has most of the same gameplay mechanics, but a fun new one. I wouldn't call this a gameplay mechanic more than actually I would call it a theme, but that theme is unmitigated racism. Metaphor has so much racism in it. It's surprising. Like, because I'd heard this about Metaphor and I was aware that, like, oh yeah, this is, in layman's terms, the Persona game about racism. The not Persona game about racism, basically. Lads, it's everywhere. It's shock. It's and they don't really hold back on it either. It's quite surprising. Let me give you two not really quite minor in the grand scheme of the game's plot, but nevertheless moments that kind of stuck out to me, right? Examples of the game, of racism in the game. And it is intentional, I should clarify. It's not like they've accidentally made a racist world. No. It's very much a core theme, right? I'll give you two. The first one that comes to mind is there's a shop in the place you're in, and it's a shop that sells really nice magic stuff and accessories and what have you, like useful stuff. It's a RPG, so you buy equipment, you equip it, you get bonuses, whatever. This place sells good shit. So you go there, you walk in as as an elder who is someone that people around here are not particularly keen on, and you go up to the counter and you're like, I would like to peruse your wares, and the guy goes, we have the right to refuse service to anyone we like, please leave. And you're like, oh, okay, right. So you turn around and leave. You can later on get access to that shop, but to this specific point, that's irrelevant. But that was one of the first moments where I was like, oh wow, yeah, they're going for it. Second one, and this is less, actually I don't know if it'd be considered less overt or not, but it's certainly a thing. You go and talk to someone else who's also not particularly kindly looked upon by the general populace of the place you're in, and they're like, my daughter needs medicine, but the church won't sell it to me. Yeah, the fucking church. And you go, well, shit, I could go buy it for you. And they're like, I don't think they'll sell it to you either, but give it a shot, I suppose. And you're like, all right, well, I'll go have a look. You go talk to the church, and the priest is like, oh goodness, it's an elder. And you're like, can I buy some medicine? And he's like, fuck no, go away. And you're like, oh, okay. But then when you raise a stat to 2 and go back, he goes, oh, well, I suppose I could sell you this medicine for 500 quid. Like, the dude gouges you on it, and you're like, what the fuck? And he's like, you should be grateful I'm even selling this to, giving it to you. So the dude is, like, barely trying to reconcile his organization's publicly held, stance of generosity with his own prejudices. He really doesn't care that much. He's just stood there like, yeah, I'm fucking gouging you. You gonna buy it or not? And it's pretty, and those two are not the most egregious nor impactful examples. It's just two that I can think of that I would talk about without divulging too much about the game at large. But there were two moments where I was like, fuck, this is where we are. All right, this is what we're doing. Okay. It has an effect. It's pretty good. Everywhere you walk in that fucking town, people go, ugh, and you're like, fuck off. Leave me alone. But at time of recording this, I have only just gotten to, let's see, you start in that one place, you go to another place, there's another place after that, third place. And I've just beaten the second deadline, as it were, like proper deadline, going by the previously established Persona mechanics. And I've been having an absolute blast of it. The party are great. I love all of them. First person who joins your party is my absolute favorite so far, and their cool person moment when they get the thing that every party member gets is the best one I've seen so far. They're all pretty good, but theirs is top notch. It's absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. It was amazing. It was so good. I absolutely loved it. But the early parts of the game, I want to say going up to the first deadline, the pace is weird. Really weird. Like, one of my, I wouldn't necessarily call it a complaint because this does kind of come down to personal taste, but I'll refer to it as a complaint for the sake of simplicity. One of my complaints about going back and playing, say, Persona 5 or Persona 3, because I haven't played Persona 4, is the pace, and that is that they are remarkably slow games. Now, that's necessary to an extent, but they are really fucking slow, and this is a problem I noticed specifically in Persona 5. Themes, concepts, ideas, and plot points get repeated a lot, as in every goddamn fucking quote-unquote cutscene, which is often more of like a text-based conversation because it's not important enough to warrant a voiced cutscene. Everyone's just talking about the same shit we've already talked about. Everyone's reiterating the same points we've already drilled, and it gets very irritating because it doesn't feel in the spirit of things to skip through that dialogue, right? Because the game is based on this stuff. It's a long-form RPG. The dialogue is crucial. The characters are crucial. It's all about this shit. But they just keep repeating the same crap over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Fucking Morgana and Ryuji would not shut the fuck up about the same goddamn things. I love those two characters to pieces, but they would repeat themselves endlessly. Now, this might still be a problem in Metaphor. I don't know, I haven't beaten the game yet, and there are a couple instances where I can see repeating dialogue, but it's nowhere near as egregious as it was in Persona 5. And indeed, in many ways, it feels like Metaphor kind of learned from Persona 5 in quite a few ways. Pace is definitely one of them. The pacing leading up to the first deadline, like I said, is mad. It's utterly insane. It goes so quick, and then it goes, okay, let's take a moment to actually talk about some concepts to make sure you understand what the fuck is going on. And you're like, okay, cool, I could do with that. I actually have quite a few questions. And the game goes, I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, we're back in there now. Go, 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 go. And you're like, oh, okay. And then it's like, okay, you made it through that. No, you didn't. Keep going. And you're like, oh, shit, okay. And the game goes, okay, now you made it through that. All right, let's talk for a minute. And you go, okay. And they're like 3 minutes. And you're like, what? And they're like, okay, go, 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 go. And you're like, Jesus Christ. And then it's like, okay, here are the events that lead up to the first, deadline. I'm not going to specify anything here, seriously. Anyone who hasn't played the game, I want you to go play it and be surprised. But it leads up to the event of the first that leads to the first deadline, and you're like, okay, all right, well, I think I can kind of see where this is going to go, right? At the very least, I can tell one thing I'm 90% certain is going to happen here. I'm not going to specify, but I'm sure this will happen. And the game goes, okay, so here is all of this, and you're like, I didn't expect a single thing of what just happened. Literally nothing, none of it. And you go, and as that cutscene happens, you start to go, well, okay, well, maybe that thing I thought was going to happen actually won't happen. And the game goes, nah, it does. Nah, it totally does. And you go, oh, okay, fuck. Also, you've got all of this, all these new concepts to deal with. Also, this is a thing now. It's mad, lads. It's absolutely mad. I'd love to talk about it more candidly, but I really don't want to spoil anyone on it. And I know, because I've done this before as well, I know some people will go, okay, well, I'm not that worried about hearing stuff about this game, so I guess I'll just listen to this person talk about it because I like listening to them talk about stuff. I'm holding back just in case someone listening to / watching this goes, oh, actually, you know what? I think I'd really like to play Metaphor. And I'm like, go in blind. As blind as you can. I apologize for the footage, but it's not that spoilery, so I think you'll be all right. But this is why I'm not talking about any points in detail. The music in the dungeon for the first deadline is amazing. I love that track to pieces. I had such a good time fighting through that place. It was great. Absolutely loved it. And really, I've just been enjoying myself the entire time. And to lead back into what I was talking about at the start of this video, and how this ties into me making progress towards treating 2026 in perhaps a more healthy way than I did 2025. This was a game where I bought it and went, yeah, no, I'm not going to do content on this. I'm just going to play it. I'm just going to play it and I'm just going to enjoy it. And I'm fucking glad I did, because A, obviously I'm enjoying the shit out of it, and B, well, combat, which is the standard Persona fare with some differences, but combat, in terms of words spoken, in terms of lines delivered, is so fucking chaotic that I wouldn't be able to say a goddamn word if I was recording the game and presenting it to you during combat, because there is so much brain jammer voice lines delivered that I wouldn't be able to get a word out unless I fucking muted it, because I just wouldn't be able to talk through it. Now, me as a person in real life am not great at talking over or through people if they start to talk over me, right? If someone talks over me, I stop talking and turn to them and listen. It was in fact only recently, I think, that there was actually an occasion where I was talking, someone talked over me, and I just upped the volume in my voice and kept talking. And they actually turned around to look at me as if this was something unbelievable. And I'm like, motherfucker, I was already talking and you started talking over me. This is the one time I stood my ground on it, and apparently that's weird. But I'm getting off topic. The point is, there is so much brain jammer vocal lines in combat that I could never present it. I love Gallica to pieces, but she won't shut the fuck up. She actually doesn't. She never does in combat. She just does not. To the point where, out of curiosity, I went to look up mods for the game because I was like, well, I wonder what they've got. Maybe some skins, because like, main character's outfit is fine, but I'm not in love with it. Like, maybe someone's come up with something cool. I don't know. I'll have a look. I did it tentatively because I didn't want spoilers, but it was a risk. It was a calculated risk. Point is, the first mod I saw was get Gallica to shut up during combat. And yeah, it is a bit chaotic, but I kind of appreciate it in its own way because it makes combat very chaotic, which kind of gives it a vibe and a feeling, which I appreciate. And the music is not what I was expecting for combat. I've never had the head of, like, the chief priest of a temple chant at me during combat, but that's what's happening. It's honestly the two tracks, one for when you enter combat at an advantage and one for when you enter combat at a disadvantage. They're both very similar tracks. I basically vomited them at Sweetman in a message and said, listen to these, they're fucking interesting. And he was like, all right, it's time to placate Foreman. Yes, they're very interesting. But they're insanely interesting tracks and they fit combat very well. And to have all the characters talking to each other and shouting over each other and Gallica providing her usual running commentary whilst that music is playing works quite well, but it also maintains something that I find that Persona games do really well with their tracks. So Atlas in general, of course, is that when you're like plowing through combat super quickly, the track works. When you're sat there staring and thinking of what to do, the track works. It works both ways, which I find is very important. It's one of my favorite things about Last Surprise. Last Surprise is written both for when you're absolutely smashing through combat and when you're also sat there thinking. It's even baked into the fucking lines of Last Surprise. Better think about your move. Are you sure the next one's right for you? They get it. They understand. They know. And it's interesting to see how many games don't quite understand how important music is for a turn-based game. Because you're going to be listening to it a lot, so you better fucking get it right, and the tone better be on point, and the vibe better be on point. But Atlas have established themselves as being very good at this for quite a while now, so I'm not surprised to hear that Metaphor's music was good. I don't think it's as good as, say, Persona 5, or it'd be a harder case to make saying that Persona 3s would be better. I like Persona 3s, but it definitely comes down to taste. But Metaphor does have an insanely good soundtrack. It's really good. The main menu track by itself, it just really leans into how off everything feels intentionally. Everything feels weird. Everything feels uncomfortable. Especially the bosses, which I won't go into because A, obviously I want you to be surprised, and B, if I tried to describe them to you, A, I would need to be able to remember the specific details, and I can't because there are so many, and B, if I did convey those details to you, it would not create an accurate picture of what you're going to see when you fight them. All this, it all ties in together, I think, to create a situation where the game is really trying to emphasize your place as a character who is arrived somewhere they are not welcome, and everything feels weird and alien and mildly to outwardly hostile. You're not welcome anywhere you go, really. There are exceptions to that as the story goes on, but the game, it's weird because, like, the game's not especially, I don't know, it is kind of hostile, but it's not. I don't know, it's hard to explain. The best I can think of is to say that the game goes to lengths to make you feel like you're not comfortable there. You don't belong there. I don't know. I feel like that's bleeding through a lot of what the game does to tie into the overarching themes of discrimination and general racism that it has. That works really well, and I like it a lot. But combat's great. I like combat. I've been playing on hard difficulty. First playthrough on hard difficulty because I can't help but challenge myself. and I find combat flows really well. There's a lot of good stuff to it. There's more you can do on the overworld to affect combat, including one feature, which I don't think is really a spoiler to point this out, but it's a great feature, which is, you know, you can swing on the overworld, and basically if you hit an enemy enough times without getting jumped to yourself, you can like kind of break them, and then you enter combat at an advantage, right? If you're strong enough, you just kill them on the overworld. Like, you just hit them and they fall and they just die, and you get experience and money for it, which is such a good feature. It is so marvelously satisfying, and it breaks up so much of the tedium of plowing through areas with enemies that are weaker than you. Instead of having to go through the process of combat starting and the music kicking in and Gallica being like, hey, look, there's something over there, and then you have to be like, okay, do I need to, like, what weaknesses does it have, because it might be weaker than me, but if it reflects attacks, I'm gonna fuck myself over, so I have to check its fucking individual weaknesses and strengths to make sure I know what's going on, and then did I even equip the right quote-unquote persona to deal with this? No, instead on the overworld you bap it twice and it fucking dies, and the game goes, nice, here's your experience and money. We're not going to break up the sequence of exploration for the purposes of dealing with this enemy that was barely worth your time in the first place, and we will reward you for it as is appropriate. Obviously you get less money and experience for killing things that are weaker than you, but it's totally worth it in that respect. And there are things you can do actually to make battering like wimpy enemies very profitable, which I'm totally going to do once I finish recording, actually, because I haven't done it yet. I've been caught up in the story, obviously. But combat is good, and I like it a lot. And there's a lot of cool things to it, which I really like. And the persona, not persona systems, which I won't go into too much detail about, because once again, it'd be better if you experience that for yourself, are very well done. And I like how they're done, and there's a lot of cool stuff in that, which I really appreciate. Not to mention cool themes, cool concepts, classes, you get the idea, there's good stuff there. But I've been really enjoying the game. I like it a lot. The game visually is fucking gorgeous, of course. Like, Persona 5 definitely pioneered, I don't know if it was the first game in general to do stuff like this, but it's definitely one of the most notable examples. But the UI being gorgeous, basically, right? Like menus, the combat, like turn-based combat menus, your pause menu, your interactions with the world, all of that stuff being really cool and dynamic and pretty. Persona 5 started that. Persona 3 Reload, from what I saw, because I haven't played Reload yet, but I'd really like to, basically adopted it because it worked so goddamn well. And then Metaphor was like, absolutely, we'll do that too. We'll also put our own little like spins and flashes and twirls on it as well. Even small things like the way combat starts, the transition into combat looks great. The transition out of combat looks great. When you get to a certain point, which is not far in the game, your fucking pause menu is gorgeous. That's a weird thing to say, but it is. It's so pretty, and there's so much work on display. It's insane. It's mad. I know Metaphor was positively received, but I don't feel like it blew up very much. And, you know, that happens, but shit, man, if it's fucking good. I really like it. I don't know. It's just really good. I've been really, really enjoying it. I guess it's been a while since I just sat and played a long-form RPG to myself. Like, obviously I'm playing Clair Obscura on the channel at the moment, but that is more of a public-facing thing, and I get the distinct impression I'm going to be done with Clair Obscura in less time in terms of hours played than I will be with Metaphor, which isn't to say one's better than the other, frankly. They deliver two very different types of long-form RPG. But what I will say is that Metaphor appears to be longer, and, well, I ain't fucking bored of it yet, so that's a good sign. Both games are fucking gorgeous, so I'm getting my absolute like fill of like beautiful imagery in games at the moment. I'm getting to see so much pretty stuff, and it's really nice. And great soundtracks as well, you know? Fucking Clair Obscura and Metaphor both having brilliant soundtracks. Love it. Can't wait to beat both games so I can listen to them all the time without fearing spoilers. But, you know, 2026 is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. We've got cool stuff coming on the horizon, like starting Canto 9 is going to be great. The Unsevering, eager to see what the fuck that means. Being in Act 3 of Clair Obscura is fucking interesting. We're going to start wrapping that up relatively soon. A friend of mine estimated, after I hung out with him again after a long time of us not hanging out, and we had some big talks about Clair Obscur. I told him where I was at, and then we had a lot of chatting about it without like him providing spoilers. He was very good about that. And I talked to him about it, and he was like, I reckon you've got about 5 more episodes at your current pace and doing things that you should do, bare minimum should do, because he believes that there is some stuff in Act 3 that in his mind should be mandatory. It's not mandatory in how the game is done, but in his brain it should be mandatory. And I'm inclined to believe him. The guy's got a good head on his shoulders. But he says, I believe at your current pace, if you do the things I think you should do, you would be done in 5 more episodes. I'm not gonna hold fast and strict to that. Obviously, I'll take as long as I need to, but it does inform me that we will be done with Clair Obscur relatively soon. And I'm not sure if on this occasion I'm gonna spin the wheel again, purely because I've got something else set up. I found something, and it caught my interest, and apparently it's something that a lot of people are interested in, although it might be a bit more of a niche thing, I don't know. And it's really hard to get on PC, like really hard. In fact, this video, you could argue, might be a massive hint as to what it is, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'll leave you to speculate. But my point is that I'm not gonna abandon the wheel poll entirely, certainly not, but it's possible that following Clair Obscur, we might just jump into that thing I'm talking about. Hopefully it works and I've done it all properly, but that I think could be quite interesting. I've heard good things about it, so we'll see. But I tell you what, I will stop taking up your time now, friends, and I'll leave you there to ponder that. For now, thank you so much for listening. 2025 was rough, but still a very beneficial year, right? I put in a lot of hard work, and just because I worked too hard does not invalidate the work that I did. I got a lot of stuff done. I did a lot of things. We did a lot of things together and made a lot of general progress. I'm just hoping to approach 2026 with a more healthy way of doing things, both for myself and really for the long-term life of the channel itself, because the channel won't last if I fucking work myself into the grave, right? I guess my brother could take over. He's technically a foreman, but I would hope he doesn't quite have the same je ne sais quoi as I do, although I'm sure he could bring his own thing to it. But also he's busy and has a child, so I don't think he has time to run a YouTube channel. So it is just relying on me to do this. So yeah, I need to look after myself a bit more, and I am, and I'm going to, and I will. And I also believe that yes, this might lead to there being less videos this year as a whole, but they might end up being better because I won't be as like mind foggy and brain dead, and I won't be in as dark a place. I think that will help. But let me know what you think of things you've heard today. I guess I can't think of anything specific because the topic hasn't been quite so narrow that I can ask a specific question, but those of you who like Metaphor, hey, what do you think of it? Please, no spoilers beyond 707, because, you know, I'm still playing through it myself. I really don't want to be spoiled on it, because it's a very cool game. I'm excited for Canto 9. Please, no spoilers on that either, but I'm excited to start doing that. And obviously excited to get back on XCOM. And I'm just generally looking forward to working on the channel this year. I reckon we can do a lot more crazy shit and see some weird stuff and do some dumb crap. Friends, that's all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I need to get back into the rhythm of talking. I've been fluffing it this entire goddamn Foreman Talks. Good practice to start the new year. Special thanks to our members and patrons: Christopher Hoos, Donut, Agent of Chaos, Honor D, Geigen, Callie, Prince of Lemons, Moongod, Megan, Voltwolf, Miss Green, Riku, Crescent, Tony the Horse, Sly the Hexire, Abyssal, Princeps, Giacomo, Substitix, Vihard, Mighty PH, Enter Storyland, Velian, Gage Charlton, Saga, Rory, Jack, Ninja Dog, Ember Fox, Me, Babby Back Turtle, Cuds, Kana Samaria, Poor Triple Brack, Lifesteal, Unclever Name, Summercat, Flanny, Painter Dragoon, Proxy, Caminero, Moa, Harak, J, Dressos, Lol, Etherbin, Linky, Zeon, Cedar, Bimbo, Talkia, Honeydew, Sweet Baby Red, Just Kidding, Tony Pie, Drum, Ghost Up, Lullaby, K-Bot, Magical, Frostbite, SP168, and Namad. For support me on YouTube and on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you all so much for watching. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that I can find a happy medium with which to conduct my business and also conduct my life. I do have to work hard at this because it doesn't make a shit ton of money, and I need that general forward growth to keep things going, as it were. I've already noticed that my predicted income for next month has dropped considerably due to the time I've taken off, but I have to be okay with that, and I have to make it work, because otherwise it's just not going to work, is it? It just won't work. It will never work if I don't take the time to relax. But these past few days have been very nice. Just relaxing, playing Metaphor, then, like, I don't know, cutting wood or doing some exercise, playing with the dogs, and then playing more Metaphor. It's been nice. I've appreciated it, and the game's fucking sick. Absolutely worth every penny I spent, and I got it on sale, which is even better. That and Persona Royal for like 40 quid. Not bad. There's like well over 200 hours of gameplay there on one run each alone. So I reckon that could keep me going for quite a long time. Although inevitably I'll get bored of RPGs and long for something more tactical and strategic. Hey, Menace is coming out in February and I intend to fucking cover that at some point, or at least play it myself. So that's a thing. But regardless, thank you so much for listening. Get ready for content coming soon, and when it does, hope I see you there. Toodles. Goodbye.